I'm going to talk to you tonight about how, as writers, you can use social media to promote your writing, whether you have a book or a blog or you're working on your writing. And one thing I want to say right off the bat is that I'm going to speak to you as if you have some understanding of social media and Facebook and Twitter. And if you don't, that's what the handout is for. There's links on there on how to set up a Facebook business page and Twitter and all the things I'm going to talk about tonight. But I'm not going to go into that tonight because we don't have that much time. But the reasons why you would want to use social media is to increase your exposure, increase traffic to your blog or your website, generate leads, build a community, and find your tribe, find your audience, find the people who would want to buy your writing. Develop loyal fans, and that's one reason why you want to start thinking about this even before you're ready to publish your book or market your book. Really, you want to think about it 6 months to a year out so that you have that community and that following. And social marketing and social media is a great way to build sort of a trust and a relationship, because everyone is on some form of social media, and it's a way to show yourself and put yourself out there, and then people feel like they know you and they already have sort of a vested interest in you and what you're doing before your book comes out. So I'm going to talk to you about building your platform. And your platform is the way that you connect with your existing and potential readers. It's also your brand. Much like a politician's platform, it is the thing you represent, the place where your passion and marketing intersect. So platform is what you are passionate about, as well as your social media platforms, like Facebook, your blog, Twitter, and then I just said the rest, meaning, and I'll talk a little bit about them: Goodreads, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Instagram, and there's also Google Plus and Tumblr and a whole bunch of stuff, but this is what I'm gonna focus on tonight. Does everybody, or who has a blog or a website? Okay, good, all right. I know that there are some writers who don't want to blog and don't want to have a blog, but really I feel like it's necessary. It's sort of your home base, and it's the page where everyone can find you, and then all these other things kind of lead off from there, and then also lead people back to your website or your blog. And especially now with everyone can self-publish and everyone does self-publish, it means you have to market yourself. So you kind of want to have that website that is your home base. And a blog is really, I think, the best way to do that, because you can share your writing. You don't have to write a lot. You can just post a picture, but you're keeping people engaged and you're letting them see your writing style and hear your voice. And you can always, if you do like write for a magazine or you're published somewhere else, you can link that and put that on your blog as well, so people can see how else you write. Or there are people who blog for other people, and you can link those as well, so they can see that if you're not just trying to sell a book, if you're trying to market yourself as a writer, they can see that you can write in different styles and for different audiences. Now, I know that this is overwhelming, right? Already, it sounds like a lot. I have to be on Facebook, I have to be on Twitter, I don't even know what Twitter is, and now you're telling me there's these other things. Well, the beauty of, one of the beautiful things of social media is that you can repeat yourself, and you should repeat yourself on all of your pieces of your platform. And by that I mean you can, whatever you put in your Facebook status, you can tweet that. And if you post to your blog, you can post that blog post on your Facebook page, and you can tweet that blog post, and you can you can pin your blog post to Pinterest. And so you don't have to sit there and come up with original things for each social media outlet. You can repeat yourself, and you can also link those together. You can make it so that whenever you update your Facebook status, it automatically tweets. Whenever you post to your blog, it automatically tweets and goes to Facebook. Everything can be linked together, which is nice. When you are writing on these outlets, you really want to be yourself and use your own voice. I think it's great and it's important to look at other writers and look at their Facebook pages and see what they're doing on Twitter or any of these other outlets. But you don't want to completely copy them. I mean, maybe their personality is different from yours and you want to let your personality show. So, I mean, you can get an idea, you can get inspiration that, oh, this writer's talking about the difficulty they're having with the end of their novel and I can relate to that. But put it in your own words to show yourself to the reader and let them see a little bit of yourself. And you want to be authentic and you want to be transparent. And I think that the way things are now, everybody is on social media and we can smell a phony, right? You can sniff it out when doesn't quite ring true or it's not comfortable. Even though it's the written word, there's something different about social media. You should speak or write the way that you would speak to someone, and people do. So I think that it's easier for people to tell if you're trying too hard. So it can be a tricky concept, but just think about how you would speak to someone if you were speaking to someone and write that. Don't make it too hard. And everybody is on social media, from the president to, Britney Spears to your kid. So it's what they're used to. That's how they're used to connecting with people. And it might feel strange to you at first, but just look around and see what other people are doing and try to get a feel for it that way. And just do what you're comfortable with, what feels good for you. Don't try to be what somebody else is. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about your blog. You want to offer features that attract readers because everybody has a blog, except a few people here. But just about everybody has a blog. So it's great if you can somehow set yourself apart and maybe have features that other people don't have, share your knowledge if you're particularly knowledgeable about a certain subject. And that's another way to connect with people if you're a travel writer or a cookbook author, use that little bit of your expertise and share that with people so that they feel like they're getting something, because that's what people expect now, is to come to your blog and get a little bit of, not just to be entertained, but people expect a little information, something for free. And you definitely want to have an author page and tell a little bit about yourself as a writer and link to your books if you have them there or your other published works. And then a media kit is a good thing if you are a freelance writer. You can list your services and your prices right there on your blog. And another thing that's good about the blog is I'm really big on WordPress. No one's paying me for that. I just like WordPress and I think it's really easy and they have great plugins. And they also have really good analytics, meaning that you can follow how your blog is doing and who is reading your blog and what they looked at when they came to your blog and where they came from. And so that's a good way to track what you're doing that is attracting readers. Are they coming from your Facebook page? Did they come from someone else's blog that you commented on? Did you write something and you had your link on that website and they came that way? And you can see what gets the most comments or just the most people coming, and then maybe you want to write something along those lines again. And once you're ready to market your book, it's good to have that right on your website, and then you can track sales or who's clicking through and looking at your book. Now, I went to the Fields End seminar this spring. Did anybody go to that? And Jason Allen Ashlock was the speaker, and he's the president of Movable Type, and he gave this little bit of advice that I think is really a great tip. He said to post an excerpt or a chapter of your work in progress and ask for feedback. And I know a lot of writers freak out about that because what about copyright, and it's not copywritten and it's just out there. Well, this is just how it's done now, and you sort of have to take your chances. And it is a work in progress, and the president of Movable Type said it's a good thing to do. It's not just me telling you. And Jason also said that he has clients who have done that and actually gotten feedback that they were able to incorporate into their work, and it helped. I mean, you might get some things that you have to weed through. They're not really helping you, but there could be a hidden gem in there. And then I think it's also a good thing because people like to kind of be privy to what's going on behind the scenes, and you're sort of letting the readers see your process and see how it really happens. And I think even writers think that when you're first starting out that, a well-known author or most authors just sit down and write the book. It just comes out and that's it. And maybe, they do a couple revisions and that's it. And no, it's this whole process, and maybe you don't go from beginning to end. Maybe you start in the middle of your book. And so I think it's really interesting to let your readers get a little glimpse of that. Plus you're getting the feedback. I think when you have a blog, you should post regularly. And I'm going to say 5 times a week. And I know that sounds like a lot, but people have a very short attention span, and they will leave you if you don't give them something. And you want to keep them engaged. This is your fan base. You have to remember that you're garnering a following, and you want these people to buy your book, and you don't want to lose them to somebody else who's constantly giving them something. So blogs are meant to be short, right? So when you're writing, you don't have to write a whole bunch. And then on those days where you really can't come up with anything, you can post a picture. There's Throwback Thursday, where you put up a picture from the past. There's Wordless Wednesday, where you just put up a picture. You don't even have to caption it. You can ask people to guest blog for you, and you might be thinking, well, how does that help me? It's some other writer. But you're going to link with each other's blogs, so you're opening yourself up to all their readers and vice versa. So you're helping each other, and it's just nice to give yourself a break. Like, Johnny Carson always had people fill in when he went on vacation, so why shouldn't you? And you can ask, if you're looking to get more experience writing, you can ask bloggers if you can guest post on their blog, but just make sure that you actually read their blog, because I get people every day wanting to guest post for me, which is great. I welcome that. But then they want to write about something that just has nothing to do with me or my blog or what my readers are interested in. So before you pitch somebody, make sure you know what their blog is about. Does anybody have any questions so far? Yeah.
I wonder, Trish, if you could say a little bit more why you think WordPress is better than blogging.
Okay, I like WordPress. I can't really, to be full disclosure, I can't compare. I never had Blogger, but I've always had WordPress, and it's very easy and it's user friendly. Like when I started blogging, I didn't know anything. And full disclosure, my husband sitting behind you, Margaret, is my IT person. But he helped me so that I could do it myself. And it's free. The free WordPress is fantastic. And there's all these great plugins. Do you guys know what plugins are? Like for SEO, to help you track your search engine optimization. They're free. You just plug it in there. And to make sure that your website looks good on a mobile device, there's a plugin for that. It's kind of like an app. There's a plugin for everything. Everyone I have is free. I mean, I think there might be something you have to pay for, but you can get a lot of stuff for free. And the help is good. If you have questions. Yes, Jeff.
So, I too have a spouse who helps me with IT.
Yeah, it's fabulous, isn't it?
But with Blogger, so like if you go to Blogspot,
yeah,
you can set something up so quickly, and you can start publishing stuff so quickly. It's scary. So, like the things that one might say off
And
the
then they're
top
out
of
there.
one's head.
That,
But just so, like, if you're looking,
Yes.
and WordPress, subtract the T. Whereas there are specific functionalities
yes,
which are like beneficial,
yes.
like they require a little bit of effort. For instance,
Yes.
a spouse that can help you with set. But
Okay.
Blogspot, like if you're just gonna
That's what I
like
use.
throw stuff up and do it.
Is that why you're
very easy.
asking, Margaret?
Well, yeah, because
And I
I'm
don't-
curious why.
Well, there's free templates that I think are great, and you can actually kind of customize them a little bit. But I'm not going to say you have to use WordPress. Okay, let me just make that whatever you like, you use that. I know WordPress. I will strongly encourage you to buy your domain name, your web address, so that you don't have .wordpress or .blogger or blogspot after it. And it's like $11 for 2 years. So just buy the domain name, because I just think it looks better, it's more professional, it's easier for people to bring it up that way. So, yes.
You mentioned earlier about repeating, these
Yes.
repeat is a good word. And actually, it just annoys the heck out of me when I get 5 messages, saying the same thing from Twitter, from LinkedIn,
Yeah.
from Facebook, from everything else. And so again, maybe other people love getting all that, but I don't. And so I've not done that. Even though I
Right.
have the capability to do that.
Well, again, that's your personal preference. And I agree, like I don't like to get a bunch of the same thing. But the reason why I encourage you to do that is because a lot of times you'll find that most people aren't on all of them. The people who are on Facebook aren't necessarily on Twitter. So this way you're reaching everybody. Now, if you get feedback that, it's the same thing everywhere I go, then okay. But I think that, number one, I think that most people are not on everything. Number two, if they are, they understand that this is just how it's done. Everything's connected. And now, if you're on Facebook at all, you'll notice people put hashtags that are for Twitter in their Facebook status because it's being tweeted at the same time. So you're never going to make everybody happy. And I'm saying err on that side so that you reach as many people as you can. And the thing about, I'm going to get to that when I get to Twitter, but the thing about the hashtags is even if someone doesn't follow you, if they follow that hashtag, they're going to see what you wrote. And I'll talk more about that. Yes?
What are lists?
Oh, thank you. Lists on your blog. People love lists, right? Bloggers in the room. I don't know what it is. They love it if you make a list. It can be, top 5, or it could just be the last 5 books I read, or it can be anything. People love lists. If you can put it around your writing, that's fantastic. But if not, everything doesn't have to be that you're marketing. That's kind of the new thing with social media marketing. It's not so in your face. You don't constantly want to be, buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, or I have a special, or the first 10 people. You want to do those things, definitely, but that's not all you want to do. And going back to building your community and building your audience, you want to show them what you're interested in. So if you want to post your 5 favorite TV shows, or Halloween's coming, your 5 favorite scary movies, or why you love fall on Bainbridge, do those things just to give people a little glimpse. And they're more apt to comment when you do those things. I don't know why, but they're more apt to give you their own lists in the comments. Any other questions before I go on to Facebook? Okay. Facebook. You want to make a business page for your writing, separate from your personal page. And in the handout, it will tell you how to do that. But they have pages for writers, and you can name it your name, comma, writer, or just your name, whatever. But you want to have it separate from your personal account. And then you want to go in, there's an option in Facebook, and you can use Facebook as that persona. So you want to be in that mode, like Trish Bittman, social media guru. And like other pages, post in as the writer, like other pages, like other comments or pictures that people post, share their pictures. You want to like authors that you like. You want to like authors in your genre. And then also for community building purposes, you should like businesses that you actually do like on Bainbridge. And usually the etiquette is they'll like you back. And then so you're getting access to their followers. And it's just good networking. Like you want to like Field's End and the library and the bookstore so that when you have a reading, Eagle Harbor Books in Victoria knows who you are, and they'll say, sure, of course, you're all over our Facebook page. Yes, you can have a reading, and the library will facilitate a reading for you or stock your books. It's just good business and good networking. And I think that you should be on Facebook once a day. Just pick a time, really all of these things, I'll recap that, but just pick a time that works for you and update your status. And also you want to make sure that, Jeff's laughing because I'm on Facebook 24/7, but if you really are actually, Jeff's never on there. If you're really actually working or writing, and you don't have that much time and this seems super overwhelming and you're like, oh my God, I could get stuck in there. You could. Just limit yourself to once a day, but try to do it once a day, because if people are responding to something that you've posted, whether you asked a question or you posted your status or whatever it is, you want to acknowledge that. You don't want to just let that go. And someone might ask you a question about your writing or your book or what's the weather like on Bainbridge, right? Just, you want to acknowledge that. You don't want to leave them hanging. So just pick a time, and I say grab a glass of wine and get on Facebook and just have fun with it. Any questions about, yes?
I am on Facebook personally, but I don't have a business page. What's the deal with the timeline? I mean, I keep getting things from Facebook saying, post on Trish Bittman's timeline, okay? I mean,
That's what they're calling, that's what Facebook is calling your wall now. Do you know what the person's wall is?
Okay.
Now they're calling it a timeline. I'm not sure why, but I will tell you this, that it will move things down because it goes in time, goes in chronological order, but then, and I think this might be the new piece, if say I posted something yesterday and then someone commented on it, that new comment would move it up to the top of my timeline.
okay.
Otherwise it gets pretty buried
Yeah.
in the timeline. But that's what they mean. The timeline is the same thing as the wall as far as I can tell. Anything else? Yes.
I would just briefly add that it's as important as posting on your own timeline is keeping that beast fed. You also want to give at least as much time to checking out what your other friends or people in your newsfeed are up to and commenting there and creating that exponential friend building effect.
Mm-hmm.
I personally found that generates not only worthwhile friends for me, but business opportunities.
That's a
The
good
more you
point.
engage with other people, their friends who are not your friends will see what you're doing and want to be
Yes.
your friend. Next thing you know, they're saying, hey, will you want to do this business with me?
Yeah. A couple things. First, this is Jim Thompson, and we met on Facebook. And Jim is an editor, so he knows what he's talking about. He's a freelance editor. And yes, I want to talk about how remember the old shampoo commercial where I told two friends and she told two friends and so on and so on? Yes, Fabergé. It's the same thing with Facebook. When somebody likes your page, everybody that follows them sees that. So maybe one person will say, oh, who's this Trish Bittman person? Why did Jim like her comment? And come over and see you. And then that person did that, so all their friends sees it. So it's just this huge ripple effect. Yes, Jeff, you're so patient.
But it's all about the story, right? So
Yes.
you talk about the timeline and you talk about posting, but you're telling a story, and you're telling a story about yourself, right? So when you're posting and you're thinking maybe I need to post once a day, you're telling a story and you're interfacing with other people that are your Facebook friends, right? So we understand things through stories. And so when you go to somebody's timeline and you can scroll down, you can see like what they said the day before and the day before, and you can go all the way, months, years in the past. And so one might assume that there is an arc. There is stuff that happens in a person's life, right? So I think when I hear Trish, who I love dearly, when I hear her talk about posting once a day, you know, the reason that you post once a day is because you change, right? And we're never the same person as we are one day to the next. And so you have this luxury to go back and watch. Once you friend somebody, you can go back and you can see how somebody progresses day to day to day. And so it kind of changes the perspective on what it means to be a friend to somebody, because you're opening yourself up.
That's true. And as a writer, when you're posting on your business page, you're telling the story, you could be telling the story of your book, and you know, I'm working on this book, and you could start with, I've got this great idea, and I wrote for 8 hours today, or I had nothing today, I stared at that blank page mocking me with the cursor blinking, or whatever, but people are following your story. That's a great point, Jeff. And then they're really excited for you when you're like, it's finally finished and it's edited and I'm going to be publishing it, and you can buy it for only whatever on Amazon, and here's the link. Because you do want to do that. You want to promote yourself. And I know some people have a little trouble with that, but you, excuse my language, but you need to pimp yourself, right? You got to, no one's going to do it for you. I mean, maybe some of your friends are going to be like, I read this book, my friend Trish wrote it, it's fantastic. But you really have to put yourself out there and then ask people to share it, and ask, when you set up your Facebook page, ask people to like it, ask people to share it with their friends, because you're just kind of out there and you need to make those connections. Does that all make sense? Yes.
I want to comment that one of the things that I have discovered, I call it my fan page, is when I post comments on related pages that are of similar topic matter, often I get fans from them.
Yes.
I have more fans on my fan page than there's an author in Seattle that I follow that's a published author, and I've got more fans. But that's the power of dragons.
Yes, that's true. Yes. You want that, again, you want to like pages that are authors that are similar to you, or because you're going to hopefully get some followers from them, from your liking them and commenting, and someone will look and say, oh, he sounds interesting, or she sounds interesting.
Twitter's that way also.
Yes, and that's a nice segue. Thank you. We're going to talk about Twitter. 18% of aspiring authors tweet. So that means that you should tweet also. And who's on Twitter in here, so I know if you know at all what I'm talking about. Again, the handout, if I am speaking a foreign language to you. Kind of the same thing with Facebook. When you get on Twitter, when you set up your account, you want to look around and find your people. You can search for authors that you know, and definitely just follow your friends. When you sign up, it'll say like, here's all your Facebook friends that are on Twitter. And so, you know, follow your friends, but also look for your tribe and stick with those people. And you want to, same like with Facebook, where you want to share and like things. It's called retweeting it. So when someone tweets something that you like or means something to you, you click a button and retweet that. And that's because they'll see you did that. Their Twitter followers will see that you did that, and then you might get some followers from that. But it's also just nice to do that. And don't be afraid to like follow and mention big names, because a lot of times they will notice, or they're paying someone to notice, and they'll mention you, and then you're open to all that. I mean, I have a couple dumb examples because, full disclosure, I waste my time watching reality TV, but one time I wrote a blog post about one of the Real Housewives wine, and I tweeted it, and she mentioned me and thanked me for that, and then I had all these people suddenly following me. And then another time I wrote a book review for this great parenting book. It's not a parenting book like how to, it's called I Was a Great Mom Before I Had Kids. So it's very funny. And they have, either, it was two women who wrote the book, either they monitor all their stuff or they pay someone. But anyway, they saw that I wrote that and they commented on my blog and they tweeted about me. So just, follow big names, mention big names. You never know what's going to happen. And then you're open to all those people. Jeff, you're making a face. What's the matter?
If I might be a contrarian for a moment.
Do it.
Because I am on Twitter, but I find it annoying. And so whenever I get somebody, you get messages that people are following you. And for the last year and a half, the only thing that I've posted on Twitter is, do not follow me. I do not know where I am going. Right? So I am trying to consolidate all of my social media onto Facebook because it's hard, right?
Yeah, but you can link them together, so you can just.
I know, but I don't want to.
But then you can ignore the Twitter.
It's hard.
All right. I'm not going to make you. I'm not going to make you. It's hard for Jeff. It's not hard for anybody else.
Is to drive people to the one social media thing that I want to deal with.
Yes. But you could be getting people on Twitter who don't go to Facebook.
I told you I'm being contrarian.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just going to point out why you're completely wrong. No, don't stop talking. It's fine.
Not only can you link those together, you can also put widgets on your web pages. So everything
Yes.
shows up there as well.
Yeah. That means on your blog you have social media widgets, another easy plugin, maybe on Blogspot too, I don't know. So they're on your webpage and they see the little bird and they're like, oh, she tweets, and click on that or click on Facebook or any of these. You can put all these social media outlets right on your blog, and vice versa. You can have your blog on your Facebook page and in your Twitter profile. In the handout, there is a link to 100 hashtags every writer should know. So hashtags are for Twitter, but people use them on Facebook now because they're doing both. And if someone doesn't follow you, I said this before, but they might follow the hashtag like am writing, am editing. There's 100 of them. So if they follow that hashtag and you use that hashtag, they'll see your tweet in their feed. Any other questions or contrary comments?
Trish?
Yes.
This is one of the reasons I prefer Twitter is because you can focus on your tribe better than
Yes.
you can with Facebook. Because those hashtags, you can create the hashtag. You can create the tribe yourself, or you can find, especially if you're a writer, you can find readers out there easier.
Yeah. And you can, if you're, like I said, it's in the handout, but if you're unsure, you can just search. You make the pound sign, you make the hashtag sign, and just see if there's a hashtag for that. And you can make your own, like make one for your name or the name of your book. A lot of authors do that.
And they have that would tie into what you were talking about when you said post a part of what you're writing. They've got that Sample Sunday.
Yes.
And it's just, I like the interface.
It's good. It's good, Jeff. I'm sorry, it is. And you can, especially if you get with other writers, you can kind of do a private thing and share your writing with each other and get feedback and sort of have a virtual writing group. There's, it's called direct messaging, and it won't go into your Twitter feed. It'll come right to you, like a email sort of thing or a private message in Facebook. Yes.
Two things. I haven't been on Twitter for a couple of years, and I still get people occasionally wanting to follow, so I'm wondering what they're following since I haven't posted. And the second question is, how do you get that Bitly thing in the old days, that you had to enter like a separate link in order to create that. Are those created automatically now if I enter a website, a URL onto Twitter?
It's created automatically on Twitter. If you put the website into Twitter, it's created automatically.
Because before it seemed like you had to struggle and create one for yourself.
Yeah, it creates it on. You can only, if you don't know, you can only have 140 characters on Twitter. And so now it shrinks the web address for you if you tweet a web address so that it will fit. And it will also, you can write more than that. It just won't show the whole thing, and people will have to click on it to show the whole tweet. Yeah.
You have anything to say about tools like Hootsuite?
Oh yeah, I like Hootsuite and HubSpot. Those are good, and these are websites that help specifically with social media. They have a lot of free things. You can also register with them, but they give away a lot of good information. And another one I really like is Social Media Examiner. They're good, and same thing. You can get like a free newsletter, and she, I think it's a she, posts a lot during the day and just little tips on social media. And she's also a good one to watch just to see how it's done, because she'll ask questions or she'll talk about things that don't have to do with social media, because you want to show your personality and get people to feel like they know you a little bit, and not just talk about writing in your books. Talk about martinis and your crazy kids. Okay, Goodreads. Does everyone know what Goodreads is? Okay, you can use Goodreads for marketing. If you don't know what it is, it's like an online thing where you can make a list of books you want to read, books you've read, and rate those books. And so when I started using it, it was so that I could make a list of the millions of books that I hope to read one day and see what other people were rating books if I wanted to waste my time. But now it's more a social networking site and also marketing. They have a section of Goodreads that's called Goodreads Authors, for authors. And there's forums in there, and you can share your work, you can talk about your work. They have, well-known authors will come in and talk with you online. I don't know why the vocabulary is leaving me, but, it's just a good place to interact with other people. And again, like with Twitter, find your tribe, find the people who like to read what you're writing, and share parts of your work in progress or an excerpt of your finished work, and ask for feedback or reviews. And it's a good place all these are good places to show your specific knowledge about something, so that when they think of dragons, they think of Lester and go to you instead of someone else who's into dragons. Now, Goodreads, I'm starting to talk about what I think is the secondary stuff. You don't have to use this every day, but it's good to know it's out there and to take advantage of it. Just to have yourself and your work in different places so that you reach more people. Did you have a question, Job? You raised your hand.
I like dragons.
Oh, it's my husband. He's a dungeon master. I think you guys are different dragons, but yeah.
Have you messed around at all with the Amazon author page and the conversations and stuff in there?
I have not.
Anybody?
Have you, Wendy? Do you have anything?
Not really, I'm just
Wondering.
how active it is, because
I have not. Have you, Jeff?
I do not want to say how I have messed around with that stuff.
Okay.
It gets complicated.
Okay. It gets complicated. Okay, I'm going to talk about Pinterest. I think a lot of people don't realize what a great avenue Pinterest is. It has the highest conversion rate because of all social media outlets. That means, thank you for asking me, that means that when someone goes to Pinterest and clicks on something you've pinned, they will go to your website, and conversion for this purpose doesn't always mean paying customer, but that's part of it. Could be that they actually buy your book, or that they just go to your webpage. which is what you want. And that's because you when you are pinning for your business, you want to pin directly from your website so that when they click on that picture, they go right back to your website. And now Pinterest, for the longest time, maybe you don't know this, Pinterest was adamant about not doing business. They would not allow you to do business on Pinterest. You couldn't have a business page. Now they have separate business pages and they really welcome it. And now they have an article pin. So you can pin PDF files. I'm not sure what other kind of files, but you can pin PDF files. So you can pin articles and not just pictures. And again, you want to repin, you want to pin other people's stuff, and you want to have a board with things that you're interested in and give little shout outs to local businesses or other authors even if they're like not in your genre. You don't want to totally kill yourself.
I feel like I need to leave right now.
Don't leave. No.
Start doing all this
No.
stuff.
Take a breath. Take a breath. I'm just telling you it's out there. These are great things to use. And there's so many people on Pinterest. It started out, and I think it was just brides and moms to make the rest of us mothers feel bad about ourselves because we don't have bento boxes and we don't do crafts. But now, everybody is on Pinterest, the Huffington Post, anything you can think of. Yes, Jeff.
I think it's worth noting as well that each of these different social media platforms, if you will, have, they appeal to different aspects of what it is you are, right?
Exactly.
So if there's one thing or two things that you want to deliver that you think it's important for you to convey, you can find the thing out there which best conveys that thing about you, which you want to convey. You have a lot of different choices.
Exactly. I'm not saying you have to use all of these things. I do strongly believe you need to have a blog or a website. You should be on Facebook, and just set up Twitter and link Facebook to Twitter. You don't even have to really go on Twitter. Just put yourself out there. But the rest of these, if there's something that, I hope there is something that you're comfortable with, and then use that. But you don't have to use any of them. But if you like pinning things anyway, use Pinterest. If you want to have a place to track what you've read and what you rate your books, use Goodreads. And then while you're on there, just look and see what's going on in the groups and in the forums, and post a link to your book or whatever and take off.
Are you going to talk about LinkedIn?
Next. Yeah, you guys are good. LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn I think is another one that people don't realize is good to use for business, and writing is a business. But you think of LinkedIn as a resume and a way to find a job or get a job or hire somebody, which it is. But there's also business pages, separate business pages on LinkedIn. So you could have, like, maybe you do something else besides write, and you have your LinkedIn profile for that, for your day job, if you will. And then you can make a separate one that's just for you as a writer, and you can put all those skills, your writing, editing, if you write memoirs, put that in there. If you write mysteries, that's your thing. And if you've done any presentations, put that in there, or taught any classes on writing, those kinds of things, put that in there. And also, LinkedIn is great for groups. Find your tribe, join groups, share your content with people. And another thing, I don't know if everyone knows, but LinkedIn will have online classes like webinars, and how to use Pinterest for business is a great one that they have on there. So it's a good resource. Even if you don't want to really use it for your marketing, it's a great resource on how to market yourself.
Trish, is it good to use the free version of LinkedIn? Because there's also like a deluxe version or something that you can subscribe to.
The
Is that
premium.
worth-
I think it just depends. Full disclosure, I just use the free one, and it works fine. But I think with the premium, you could do like those webinars for free. I think there might be a charge otherwise, and you also get access to more.
You can see, for example, who's read your page.
Yes.
And it actually reveals who the name is.
Yes, with the premium.
Premium. And then you can send unlimited email messages.
And you can use your LinkedIn, the people you're connected with, your connections, and send out mass email through LinkedIn instead of like MailChimp or one of those. Any other questions about LinkedIn?
Speaking of
maybe.
MailChimp, are you going to talk about that at all?
I wasn't. Do you have a question? I don't know a lot about it, but I know a little bit.
So is there something easier than MailChimp, or is there a way to link everything? Do you know how to link it so that you can
I think-
create like 3 blogs and it'll automatically create a newsletter?
I don't know how to do that. I've not done that, but I think MailChimp will do it. I know Constant Contact will do that. And those are both free unless you have like a huge, I think it goes up to something like 3,000. It could be. Constant Contact might be more. Even for a small, okay, we think Constant Contact might be a charge. I really don't know. I'm sorry. I don't use it. I have some clients that use it, but they set it up before they hired me.
You can set up email list groups within your account and send to all of them. Send your newsletters.
Okay, Instagram. Does everyone know what Instagram is? It is purely pictures, but it's a big thing, and a lot of people use it. You don't have to use it. I know it's already overwhelming, but it's kind of fun, and it's an app that you download on your phone. And I started using Instagram just because they have all these filters, and it's kind of, instead of using Photoshop, you just have all these free filters, and you can do fun things to your pictures. But people use it for marketing. And again, it's a good way to show your personality because you're thinking, well, I write, what am I gonna take pictures of? That's true. You could take pictures of books you like to read, or your, this is where I write, or your latte and your laptop at Bainbridge Bakers, and you can do that. But you can also just take pictures of things that you normally would take pictures of and put them in your Instagram feed, and people appreciate that. They're getting a little glimpse at yourself, at your personal side, sort of. And you can, all of these, you can link up. So when you're posting your Instagram picture, you can Facebook it and tweet it at the same time. Yes, Jeff?
No, I'm just gonna try to simplify this because I am.
Please do.
I am something of a Luddite. So, Instagram, in my mind, my simple mind, I have a camera, I can take a picture, and then there's a cord that goes to the computer, and then I have to go and download a thing onto Facebook, and then you pull up a file and you put it into the comment or the status update on Facebook, and then that file, which is an image, goes up onto your Facebook feed. Instagram eliminates a bunch of those different steps. So just, if this is helpful at all, I am trying to go through the different steps that Instagram obviates, right? So I hope that this has made things clearer. I do not know that it has.
And I'm just gonna say that I really like the effects on the Instagram. You can put frames on your picture. You can do it in black and white. It's really cool. Any questions about Instagram? Yeah. Hi,
Yeah, so
Marcia.
if you take this picture with your camera and you just say send to Facebook, I mean, what happens that makes it so quick and easy?
It's an app on your phone. Well, but I can't show you, but it's an app on your phone. So you're using your phone camera, not any other camera. And so the picture will come up and it will let you edit it. And then there's a button that says share. Before you click share, you can click Facebook, Twitter, there's a whole bunch down there. And then you click share and it automatically shares it. That's what makes it so easy. And you can also, it has I guess like a GPS, and you can say where you are. I don't know if you check in on Facebook, but it's kind of the same thing. You can check in on Instagram and it'll say, like if you're taking a picture at Disneyland, it'll say Disneyland, California. Or you don't have to do that. And you can tag people too on Instagram. Yeah.
So just
Go
to
ahead.
get terribly simple about this, and I am a terribly simple person, right? So you want to post something on Facebook, for instance, and you have a camera and you take a picture, and this file is now on your digital camera. So when you are on Facebook, you can just click on the little camera icon, and then that will enable you to search for this file on the camera that you have connected through the cable. This is how I do things. However, Instagram with a smartphone enables you to do this much more quickly.
Instantly. That's why it's Instagram. See how clever they are? Yes,
I have a smartphone for that.
you do. You do. Smartphone with a camera.
Yeah, my phone
Yeah.
is a camera, but it's not a smartphone.
Yeah, because it's an app that you would get for iPhone or Android, I guess. I don't know what other I will be honest, I only have my iPhone. Any other questions about Instagram? Okay, so I'm just going to remind you that you can link them all together, and you should do that. Makes it so much easier. And don't be overwhelmed. Don't get distracted when you're on social media. It's easy. Just set aside some time for yourself. Don't be like me. And get in and get out. And you can do it in an hour or less than an hour a day. And then I read this. I forget where, but social media is not a waste of time. It actually makes people more productive. So that's your excuse. Any questions? Yes.
Linking them together using something outside of those specific things, like a tweet deck or something, is there anything out there that you recommend? So you can just sit down
One dashboard.
once.
I wish there was. So far, there's nothing that. Well, WordPress. Will Hootsuite link them all up together?
I think so.
Wow. Bonnie knows.
How do you spell that?
HOOTSUITE.
Did you get that? Hoot and then suite, like an apartment suite. Will they do them all? I find everything will hook up, link to Facebook and Twitter, but you kind of have to go, as far as I know, I'm going to check Hootsuite now, but you have to go to Pinterest and click those two things. Okay. Except you can have them all on your website, and you can use networked blogs. It's all one word if you have a blog, and you should, and that will automatically put it to Facebook and Twitter when you post to your blog.
So make sure it's a good post.
Yes, yes. I know there's downsides to that because sometimes you want to do your own hashtag or whatever, but it's nice when you don't have to worry about it. And also, I don't know about the other platforms, but they probably have them. But in WordPress, you can have a editorial calendar, and you can write your blog posts ahead of time and then set them to post on certain dates and at certain times. And that's good when you're on vacation or whatever. And then that will automatically tweet in Facebook, and you don't have to worry about any of it. You just set that calendar up in your blog. Yeah.
So Trish.
Thanks a lot. You scared me to death.
Yeah, I know.
I've
scary.
actually decided that I'd like to look into the angle of hiring a social media guru to help me get started on building my online presence and my audience for maybe a year and a half or so. What do you think, what would I expect in general? I know it's kind of like a day in the life of a social media guru, but what types of services do you think I would sort of get from that guru, and also about how many hours per week should they actually help, kind of be working on
Right.
me as a client in order to kind of really have do an excellent job, let's say.
Well, they're going to offer you, I have different packages, and I think all social media people do. And they'll offer you different things, and you can pick what you want. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this talk tonight is so that if you do go and hire someone, you know a little something already, so you won't be taken advantage of, and you'll also know what they're talking about. And I just said you can do it in an hour a day. And really, once you get it set up and get it running, you can do it in even less than that. So if someone tells you, oh, I need 20 hours a week, You really don't. If you're not, they could do that, and I'm sure they do a great job for you, but if that's not in your budget or you're not comfortable with that, you can ask for 5 hours a week. And when I say a week, I mean Monday through Friday. You can give yourselves the weekend off. Did that answer your question? I know I'm not really like saying, but there are different things, and usually the person will work with you, figure out what it is you're wanting. To set it up takes longer. Like if you don't have any of these things, it would take a little bit longer.
So they would also help to go and look for that tribe that you're talking about and the kind of the best, what do you want to call it, people to link to and
Yeah.
on Twitter, I mean, whatever hashtag with and so forth.
Yes, they would do that.
For me, what takes the most time is reading everyone else's posts.
Well, that's it. That's why I'm saying don't get distracted. I mean, you do want to read other posts.
If you follow 60 people, 100 people that each post
You can't.
every day.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't do it. You got to pick. That's why I keep saying find your tribe. Pick the top ones because I find them to be inspirational. There's nothing wrong with being inspired by someone else. You're not going to totally copy them, but if it sparks something in you and helps you write a blog post, then read those. But you have to limit your time because you can get sucked into it.
So there's this notion of trading likes, basically.
Right.
Where you follow on Twitter. Someone follows you, you're supposed to follow them back, that kind of thing. I only
You don't
follow
have to do
people
that.
I actually want to see.
Yes, yeah. I recommend that. Especially Twitter because it can clog your feed, and Facebook is a little more manageable because you can go in and say, I like you, but I don't want to see any of your stuff, or you know what I mean? And Facebook will automatically drop people. If you're not going to their page, they'll automatically drop them for you. So you want to make sure that you don't lose someone.
People, if they're really interested in my fan page, go to it.
Yes.
Don't expect it to show up in your news.
Right, because Facebook will drop it.
Facebook only shows half my fan
Yeah.
feed.
Yeah. Was there another question? Yes.
Yeah, you've got information here on how to set up hashtags and whatnot. Could you just give me like a idiot's guide to hashtags? Like why hashtag? Why can I not live without a hashtag?
My husband's trying to tell me. What? Go ahead. It's okay. Help me. What?
You never said keyword. We practiced this over the.
Oh, yes. They're like keywords. Thank you, honey. This is why I have you. They're like keywords. And he's all disappointed in me. People follow these hashtags. It's a thing. So you want to get yourself noticed and be seen. So you want to use these keywords that will show up. And like if someone were to do a Google search, what would they Google to find you? So that's why you use them. So if they're searching in Twitter for certain hashtags, you want them to find you. Now, people make up hashtags all the time and do funny things, but if you're really wanting to be found, you want to look and use hashtags that people actually use. Does that make sense? Am I helping you? It's hard to explain exactly what the hashtag is.
So you're saying you shouldn't use your name as your hashtag?
Well, your name, no, you can use your name, but I really wouldn't. That would be kind of silly because your handle will be your name. That's your Twitter identity. Like it's an @ and I'm Trish3Kids. So that will be your name. I wouldn't really hashtag my own name. You could hashtag your book or, your blog or that kind of thing.
It's just an example, okay, and that is that I am a writer and whatever, but right now, for example, the federal government shutdown, okay, this isn't my highest priority, but I just did hashtag Congress, okay? And so that took me to all these other people who really aren't my fan club or whatever, but I was just interested in that, okay? But
So
then,
it's not unique to you. It's just this concept that people connect into it.
right, but it could, right, but then the thing I'm interested in writing about is brain training, okay? So I made up I didn't make it up, but I put in hashtag brain training, and by golly, it took me to all other people who are interested in brain training. And that kind of helps you to focus in on people who are similar to you.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't want to take too many questions because we want to allow Trish to be able to meet and greet you at the end, so maybe just one or two more
One last
questions.
question.
Yes, yes.
What if I haven't had enough of you and I want to drink with you? Where could I?
Oh, I think we're going to Casa Rojas right after this. Good question. Okay, thank you. You guys were a great audience. Good questions. Thanks, Hilda.